Like, Scoob, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Maggie.
Like, how can you talk? I don't think this has ever been brought up in any conversation we've ever had.
I don't know. I just ran.
Yeah, but like, we're going around, traveling the whole country, and even abroad in some cases, with no salary or money, and yet still managing to pay for gas and for food. Trying to prove that magic and ghosts somehow don't exist, and yet we have a talking dog that never seems to age despite us doing this nearly 60 years. And what about after we finish a mystery? Do we all just, sleep in the back of the van? Or do we get a hotel room with our money, that we never seem to have on us?
G'day little nippers and welcome to the show! Hanna-Barbera. Oh, don't pretend you don't know. The animation company, founded in 1957, are only one of the most recognisable cartoon production companies ever, producing favourites like the Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, and even working in tandem on big projects with Disney and Warner Brothers. One of their biggest and perhaps most popular characters, still being used today, is of course Scooby Doo.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
No! Muttley, that wasn't funny. This is Scooby Doo, the original show.
Where are you? We got some.
Now, as weird as it is, it's actually difficult to say to someone these days, Scooby Doo, and how many of them think you actually mean one of the remakes or even the live-action film, God help them. I mean, this was made in 2002. How did Gollum come out the same year? I mean, they looked at... Anyway, amongst all of these recent remakes and adaptations to the show, through several redrafts and interpretations, it's incredible to think of the show's humble beginnings. Was the show good?
Well, yes and no.
The budget of the show was always painfully obvious throughout the first couple of series, and while that wasn't necessarily their fault, you could still make the argument that the team's lunch break probably had more of a budget than the material they were forced to work with here.
Right! Tulio, look on the positive side. These things can't get...
Excuse me, were you going to say worse?
No.
No. You sure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But
The stories and characters, however, are perhaps a different kettle of fish. While the stories in each episode were obviously meant for little kids to understand, just take a look back and really think about the effort that's gone into each episode. A businessman dressed as a fire ghost to claim insurance on a property. A rival company scaring off competition. These are some really creative ways to appeal to children. So much more above and beyond what they had to do. They were obviously careful to stay away from really dangerous criminals and crime, like mass murderers and serial killers and such. God, can you imagine Velma trying to solve a mystery against Hannibal Lecter?
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
The show made a clear effort to stand out amongst all the other kids' shows, and in many respects, it was the characters that made the show. Why? Well, I mean, it has pretty much every demographic kid in it. You got Fred, the sporty jock, Daphne, the popular girl, Velma, the smart nerd, Shaggy was the comedy relief, and of course the mascot that was Scooby Doo. And you know what? Their humble characters and clever stories paid off. As the popularity of the show increased, so too did the budget and creative freedom. Sadly, however, the extra funding and freedom seemed to go straight to the creators' heads, and Scooby Doo began doing very unusual things. Beginning to share universes with people like the Harlem Globetrotters, wrestlers, and Batman and Robin.
Batman, like when we get to the Bat Cave, could I get a little snack?
Yes, Shaggy, we'll all have a snack. Bat milk and cookies for everyone.
Bat milk?
Bat milk? Really? Now that's not to say that any series after the original was bad. Quite the contrary, it still had the sense to keep the parts of the show in it that really mattered, namely the character personalities and creative stories. Now as we enter into this peculiar time for film and cinema, I'm really hoping that the new CGI film out now has more to it than the trailer showed. I mean, Shaggy didn't really sound that great. Scooby Doo is doing comedy that he doesn't usually do, like that IKEA joke.
Modern aesthetic, the cool blue color palette. We're in
IKEA.
The Falcon Fury. Did you say IKEA?
Nope, I said Falcon Fury, just like you.
I just hope that the essence of what Scooby Doo is and what the show in the early 60s represented can still be found in every new remake.
I'll have whatever he's having.
Except that one. I mean, honestly, I have no words. The CGI is so bad. And as I say, Gollum came out the same year. I just don't know how they can even pass over... Anyway, overall, Scooby-Doo's original series had an innocent charm to it. And while by certainly today's standards, the animation seemed dated and even rushed over at times, the creators were always aware that with good effort in the story and well-written characters can even make the meagerest of budgets into pure gold. I scored this series 8.5 out of 10 Croc points. Take care, little nibbers. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and, if you can, support me on Patreon. See you in a while, crocodiles!
Great! Tulio, look on the positive side. These things can't get...
Excuse me, were you going to say worse?
No.
No? No. You sure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.